Typically, if you create a new role, you can see that here, then you can assign, if you like, to role types. Role types are typically used to more detailed specify the roles, with the reason that in a big environment you will have hundreds and thousands of roles somewhere, and it is sometimes easier to fetch a specific set of them by just knowing a specific criteria, which the role type, for example, is. As you can see here, all the role types in the system are available just to select, and you can see that easily if I just click on role types, and you will see the same role types we saw in the drop-down box before. Even role types can exist in hundreds, and so it makes sense just to assign these role types to role classes. Therefore, for example, I want to assign some role types to functions. I step on role classes, I select functions. I have to click on assign role types. For my function roles, I think function roles as type makes sense, and maybe sub-function roles. And once they are assigned and I'm stepped back into that specific role tree and create a new role and step to role types, you can see only the two assigned roles are now available. That means in 8.1, it is possible to assign role types to role classes, and only the assigned role types will be seen. If nothing is assigned, you can see all role types. In the past, we just changed a lot about employees and sub-employees. That means identities and sub-identities. Now, with version 8.1, a new property was added to the person table, which is employee type. In this specific property, we can configure an employee type like a standard employee, an apprentice, a contractor, consultant, and so on. You can see these employee types on the list. At present, that means in 8.1, these employee types exist, but maybe in the future this employee type will then be used in some more processes. Just one little business logic is implemented, and this little business logic is to assign the customer employee type to any new person object, which is flagged as well as external. If I create a new compliance rule and the configuration parameters of my system are set properly, then I'm able just to switch on the compliance rule between two modes. One mode is to use the compliance rule in preventive and detective compliance testing. That means at the end on a scheduled basis and in the IT shop. Or I can just switch the rule to be only used in detective testing. If I do so, then I'm able just to select here a SQL clause, which allows me to write the complete compliance rule as SQL rule. Unfortunately, if I do so, I lose the ability to use this compliance rule in the IT shop. And the reason are performance problems which could appear if somebody is writing SQL on its own. This is a feature that exists since a while in Identity Manager. And now I switch back to the standard behavior, which is the rule which is available for detective and preventive testing. And I use the wizard to configure my rule. For example, I take entitlement, and in the entitlement, I just use system role as entitlement. And here we are on the property level. And on the property level now, I drop down that specific box. And in 8.1, first time, I see a SQL clause. This SQL clause, which I can enter here, it's a SQL clause which is not just describing the complete compliance rule. It is only describing how to get that specific value for that specific property. That means it is a sub-SQL somewhere in a standard compliance rule. And this is the new behavior, this is available for preventive and detective testing and can be used to create the little bit more complex compliance rules which are available in IT shop and on a scheduled basis. From my perspective, a pretty nice improvement, but you have to know that it is different to the behavior I was showing you before. Let's start with an improvement on the rule violation side. As you can see, I selected my super user Herwig, and I think it is not really wondering us that especially Herwig comes with compliance violations. This is typically the fact if you have absolutely too many permissions. However, as you can see, there is one rule violation, and in the past this was the full information you got here in this specific screen. The same it was possible to see on the rule side where that compliance violation was pointed out. If I just click the rule violation, you get a new screen. This is new in 8.1, and what you can see here is a lot of more information about the rule violation. For example, you can see the employee, which is here connected. You can as well see the rule violation, which is pending, and you can as well see the rule and can directly jump to the rule if you are interested. In case of SAP, you will then see as well affected sub-functions and sub-rules. I cannot show you that here in this environment because there's no SAP connected, but this exists then as well. And at the end, if you just start to click on that specific rule violation, you can see as well detailed information that shows you what happens with that violation. In this specific case, as you can see, this is a pending rule violation. That means nothing decided yet.